This is the Time Machine Rave.
Well, hello people. How are y'all doing? It is Monday morning in Los Angeles, and we are here celebrating breakbeats of all kinds, but mostly the good kind. I'm not going to play any of the bad kind of breaks, whatever that means to you. Whatever that means to you. But good to see you, Brightwell. How you doing? Mikey Z. What's up? Kaz, how you doing? Ian McMurchie, what is up? Welcome back to Players Club. How you doing? Cosmic Seeds in the house. How you doing? Kenneth Saul in the house. How you doing? Good to see you all here. We're getting into some breaks. Starting off a little slow. But you know what that means? It's just going to get a little bit faster and faster until we've run out of speed to use. The music's going to get so fast today, it's going to be silent That's how fast it's gonna be. Or maybe not, I don't know. I'll just keep it funky instead. Stuart Bennett in the house. Good to see you. And to all, welcome to the rave.
Body moving,
What's up to Emilio? How you doing? Donut, good to see you. That donut emoji looks really delicious. Bach, how you doing? Good to see you. I don't know if I have that particular mix. I know I have all the remixes from back in the day, but I probably didn't download a newer one, but I will definitely check it out. And DJ, welcome back. Mikey Z is back as well. E. Martin Chi, how you doing? I'm glad you like the Debbie Gibson shirt. There comes a time in every person's life where they decide, I need a Debbie Gibson T-shirt. DJ, I know all about 3i Atlas, and I'm aware of the different theories. I don't know. Maybe we deserve to be blown up. I'm okay with it. Because, you know, welcome to the rave.
always at mass. Tell your mother that you love her. I go out of your way for others. Sit beneath the light that suits you and look forward to a brighter future. Life ain't always empty. 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 Sink as far down as you could be pulled up. Happiness really ain't all about luck. Let your demeanor be your deep down self, and don't sacrifice your life for your health. When you speak, speak sincere, and believe me friend, everyone will hear. Life ain't always empty. 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 From someone else. Buy yourself a flower every 100th hour. Throw your hair down from your lonely tower. And if you find yourself in the family way, give the kid more than what you got in your day. Life ain't always empty. 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 Never let a clock tell you what you got time for. It only goes around, goes around, goes around. Take a family name for your own great sins, cause each day is where it all begins. And don't give up too quick. You only get one line, you better make it stick. If we give ourselves to every breath, then we're all in the running for a hero's death. Life ain't always empty. 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 KLF is gonna rock you.
In the early morning's haze, you sit and wait, watching full glasses through blank eyes. This is not what you wanted, not what you had in mind. This is not what you wanted, not what you had in mind. Vacuous winter's dead, a worn-out version of yourself, too tough to fall, but not strong enough to turn, but not strong enough to turn, but not strong enough to turn. This is not what you wanted, not what you had in mind. This is not what you wanted, not what you had in mind. This is not what you wanted, not what you had in mind. Whoa, this is not what you wanted, not what you had in mind. feel better, but the closure will wear upon your sleeve. It feels clean. away the trouble you hold inside your skin. Well, is greed. You shelter your eyes from the sand and the rain and purity. Don't call for me. I said that I'm moving on. I said that I'm trying to slip free. I can't accept you. I can't let go, and I don't wanna know. We're driving forever. We're going nowhere, but I don't wanna know. Everything's at stake this time. It's too much to sever, and you're all alone. I can't replace you. I can't let go, and I don't wanna know. Don't wanna know. I can't accept you. I can't let go, and I don't wanna know. It wasn't your time. This isn't your man. The burners are temporary. We're driving forever. We're going nowhere, but I don't wanna know. It's clenching your fist. It's turning to dust. A chance to disintegrate your trust. Everything's at stake this time. It's too much to sever, and you're all alone. Walk to the end of Main Street. The cul-de-sac burning at your feet. I can't replace you. I can't let go, and I don't wanna know. So don't make a sound, and just lay still. The end will come soon. Feed your will.
Howdy, disco citizens.
Or at least he was. But hello to you. Good to see you. Who else? Do we got Don Tigre on Twitch is here. How you doing? Smitty, what is up? Welcome back. And Silly B on Twitch as well. How you doing? Welcome. Yo soy Goose. Welcome. How are you?
Howdy, disco citizens.
Nice, Mikey. I appreciate you playing the Dark Karate. Anyway, let's get back into this cornucopia of a set. Space Analog, how are you? I wish all of you the happiest Breakbeat Monday possible. Because welcome to the rave.
True MCs and we got together. Mr. B.I. Double G S Bless G-L-O-B-E. You see me? Now we be that generation with a twist. Too smooth for all that old and new school. You know if I didn't sit up on a throne, maxing and relaxing while things are going on. So you can stay jiggy, with your heel figgy. We'll sit the Christians till we pissy. Another glass, the future in the past. The way we stack pads, the overzone class.
Psychedelic jack, track and techie
true. Maybe we can't live without all this goddamn noise. Maybe I need the noise to write poems, make love, and eat. I'm going to hang a sign out my window that says, "More noise, please," or "Thank you for making noise."
outside dancing is appreciated to Players Club. I can't help it, I just move around. I got to. It's good for my health though, you know. David Lopez, how you doing? You're amazing, man. So thank you for being here. And to everybody on Twitch as well, thank you for being there. There. Nintendo Cereal, what is up? Frank Schultz from Germany. Good to see you. And definitely more Orlando, Florida breaks to come in the set. David Lopez. Because welcome to the world.
alien by design. I wonder what I would find if I met you. Let my eyes caress you until I meet the thought of Mrs. Princess who often wants to expand in a frustrating side. Tell me that she's not dreaming. She's got an ace in the hole that doesn't have meaning. Reality used to kind. Christina Applegate, you gotta put me on. But guess whose piece of the cake was Jack Bourne? She broke a wishbone and wished for a sign. I told her whispers in my heart were fine. What did she think she could do? I feel for her, I really do. And I stared at the ring finger on her hand. I wanted her to be a big PM Dawn fan, but I'll have to put her right back with the rest. That's the way it goes, I guess. Set adrift on memory bliss of you. Set adrift on memory bliss of you. Set adrift on memory bliss of you. Set adrift on memory bliss of you.
TEE. One time when I was a teenager, I was like 16 or 17, I think, and my friend had this house where he had a detached bedroom, you know, so it was away from his parents, and we used to, you know, do teenager stuff at his place, including, you know, having different psychedelic experiences and that sort of thing, you know. So we had a so-called acid party one time, and we were going around. Each person got to pick something to put on music-wise, and I had prepared a tape, which was Kraftwerk Trans Europe Express, the album from the 70s, on one side, and the other side was Can Tagomago, a early 70s krautrock album with some truly out there psychedelic, noisy, experimental stuff. And I remember I put that stuff on first, and they were like, "Yeah, this is too much. It's too psychedelic." And then I put on Trans Europe Express, and we all laughed for like 2 hours at Trans Europe Express, because even though I had heard that song a million times, I understood why it was so funny in that incident. And I can't tell you why, but you'd have to be there. But it was very funny, and they made fun of me for it for a while, until, because this was in 1996 or 7, until Kraftwerk came back and they were all cool, and they played at Coachella, and then everybody that, you know, made fun of me for listening to Kraftwerk back then was like, "Oh yeah, Kraftwerk's cool, man." I was like, "Yeah, whatever. I know where your integrity lies. Right, kitty?" Clifford is finally awake and looking at me. "Hi, kitty." She blinked. That means she hates me, I think. Kindness for critters. Wow, that's appropriate for the moment, because I was just talking to my kitty. "Hi, kitty." She says hi. I would go pick her up and bring her over here, but I don't think she'd like that right now, so I'm not going to do that. But you can see her right here. That's Clippers on the top. This is Ginger. They've actually never been that close to each other. That was a Photoshop deal. I mean, they don't really get along that well, but they're fine. They deal with it. Anyway, thank you, Don Tigre. How you doing? And yes, I did see Kraftwerk when they played at Coachella. I saw them when they played at the Hollywood Palladium in 1998. I remember because that was the day after I graduated high school, and I was also 18, so I got an eyebrow piercing the day of the Kraftwerk show, I remember. And that worked out well, because you see I don't wear eyebrow rings, and it's because both of my I tried it on one side, and the piercing people told me, like, sometimes the body just rejects the piercing, so it like literally pushed the eyebrow ring out until it was like nothing. It was really weird. And then I tried it on the other side, and still didn't work. I still have the scars, the deep emotional scars, and the embarrassment of having pierced eyebrows. But I don't know if I would have kept doing it if it worked out. But back then, I thought pierced eyebrows were the way to go. I wanted to be that guy that had pierced eyebrows but not pierced ears, and I was for a little bit. But then, you know, my body had other ideas. Anyway, I will stop talking now, so y'all can get back to your lives and people and whatnot. But thank you, everybody, Emilio, David, Cosmic, QTube, Kindness for Critters, and E. Martin G, Smitty, Why Do I Worry, all the regulars, Mikey Z, etc. Thank you for being here. If you like what you heard, you could subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on Twitch, or check out the Patreon mix in both descriptions, or the Patreon link in both descriptions, and you can hear the newest Patreon mix that I uploaded yesterday, which is called This Is New York, and it's all about New York house music, and lots of classics on there, and I had a really good time making that mix yesterday, one of the more fun ones. So, check out the link in there. It's only $2 to become a member. And pretty soon the $5 tier on Patreon is going to have access to a few different adult karate songs in terms of samples. Like I'll offer all the stems for specific songs. I still got to figure that out and organize how I'm doing that, but that's the plan. In any case, thank you everybody for being here. And Mikey is up next, so make sure you follow that link. And everybody's going over to the after party. But thank you, everybody. And I will be here tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Actually, no, scratch that. I will not be here tomorrow morning. I have to take Tab to an appointment, but I am planning on streaming when I get back tomorrow. So probably, I don't know, it'll be a weird time in the afternoon-ish. But probably maybe 3 or 4, or maybe I'll just stream at night tomorrow. I don't know, but I'll figure out what I'm doing and let y'all know on Discord and Patreon and stuff. And Donut, thank you. I don't know if I said, no, I did say hi to you because I remember thinking the donut emoji was delicious looking. It always gets to me. So anyway, that's all I got. And I will see you all next time, which is tomorrow at some point. I'll fill you in. And everybody be well, and I will see you next time in the Time Machine Rave.